interesting now. Mordecai, these kids will come to Canada very easily. Would also easily visit. Getting visa travel and all that sometimes is not very easy. And yeah, here we are. We thank God for the life that we lived. Um, it's not easy. It's unbelievable. I do not know how difficult it will be to wake up. And so what is interesting about him is that first of all, he made very many friends. There are some friends. I mean, quite a number of people knew me in Lokabete, and I remember some guys actually left in campus because he went into module 2, so he joined a bit faster. That I knew, some guys that I knew who were also his friends all of a sudden, and even some of them confessed, even up to now, that they've still maintained a friendship. Not only that, but what is amazing is that the software engineering idea remained in his mind, and even at the point of his death, he was actually a software engineer, a senior software engineer, as it were, because you can imagine he spent plenty of time studying on his own software engineering. He read books. He was an avid reader. He read books. He practiced a lot. He trained. I remember those days, the early days when he was in the university. I introduced him to a buddy of mine at Safaricom, and that's why he began the journey. So this buddy of mine was a developer with M-Pesa, and Mordecai learned a lot from him. The programs there, they would train, and then yeah, that's it. I introduced him to my former classmate, Sister Christine Massivo, of the Precious Blood Sisters, and they become very good buddies to date. I mean, up to the point of his death, and through Sister Christine, and that channel rather, he became known among the Precious Blood group. I remember Precious Blood would give him lots of money, and he would deliver on the contracts. So much so, until when he was, those days when he was in South Africa during the COVID season, he would still have contracts with Precious Blood. And he would send some of his buddies, I think like Peter, if I'm not mistaken, and a few others, to interact with Precious Blood on the account of his name. He developed that kind of deep relationship with the Precious Blood. But then he was so focused in getting a job with big tech from the word go. Just from those early days, he was so focused on it. He worked his way there, through thick and thin. I remember he attempted, I think this time round, this most likely was the second or third interview, I forget, the second or third attempt at Amazon for him to get that job. And he had also attempted something with Facebook, I think a little bit with Google and all that. What is amazing is that he completely refused to get employment anywhere else. So he said he would be a freelancer, and then he would focus on the software engineering. I mean, that was something. I think an amazing way of living. In fact, he kept on telling me that there are things I've been asking, and then he told me, Dan, you know what? If you just put your mind and focus, it might take you 3 years, it might take you I don't know how many years, but you get it. And that has always remained inspiration. I always remember that he told me that I should focus, because sometimes I get jumpy. I'm also a bit aggressive and all that, but I don't concentrate so much, So he encouraged me to focus, and I mean, for him, amazing. He focused and managed to get this job. I remember this time when he got into a difficult situation with I think friends of his. I think they set him up or something like that because of his skills. He was wrongly accused sort of having hacked the Safaricom systems, and I think they were saying that he had bonga points worth 90 million or so shillings, that he had taken, and obviously that went to court, and we journeyed together with the lawyer Veronica Odipo until the case was dropped. And I mean, there was no evidence that he was accused of, but I mean, that's how talented Mordecai was. He was so skilled, extremely skilled, and I'm not just saying this because he was my brother, but that's the truth actually out there in the market. I mean, um, his skills were very advanced in matters of engineering. He loved traveling. From the word go, and I think this is something I saw on Instagram the other day. While just trying to go through it, he said that he picked it up from dad. So yeah, he enjoyed his time traveling. He would spend a lot of his time at the coast. I think he's done all the time there, and probably all the countries in East and Central Africa. I was looking at his Instagram, East and Southern Africa. He's covered quite a bit, traveling in all these countries, made friends all over, and everywhere he would go, he would have friends among the brethren. So like the other day, he was telling us about, unfortunately, his pastor in Joburg, relative, passed on, and he was mourning about it. And he's made very good friends with quite a number of pastors in this region, Eastern and Southern Africa. And not just that, also among the brethren, brothers and sisters alike. At some point we would even wonder, Mordecai, are you going to settle down in marriage? Because he had so many, sister friends, and then we say, no, those are just friends. And true enough, actually, they would all confess to just being friends and nothing more than that. So I think he lived his life well, in a great manner. I mean, and it means inspirational. He took me around Cape Town when we were there in 2018. And I remember him even taking some of his friends, down to Mozambique. Wow, I think Mordecai lived a great life. He was also very focused. I remember we've discussed a lot about what you can do together as a family, how we can put up, businesses as a family, what we can do together, purchase land. It hasn't been very easy for my dad in some of the lands he has in that country. And we'll talk about how we buy new parcels of land, to develop together as a family. I think he was quite focused, and he loved the family a lot. He was very keen on unity. I mean, reaching out to cousins to see how we can team up together. Towards this end, for some reason, this last December, when he came back from South Africa, and of course, okay, during the period he was in South Africa, it was worrisome for us. It was not an easy season because he was there at some point without proper documentation, because he traveled just before COVID and he was on a short-term visa. And then he, obviously because of the lockdown and everything, he overstayed, and then he chose to remain there for that while he was trying to get a job with Amazon initially in South Africa. And you'd go for interviews and all that. That was quite a worrisome season for us. Yet, he remained hopeful. He remained hopeful that nothing would go wrong. Even there's a time he was actually sick with COVID, but he remained hopeful that all would be well. He would somehow manage to survive there with the help of friends like Sister Rhoda, Randa, and he'd somehow manage to raise some money, support him a bit, but he'd also, in some of his gigs here and there, would raise some money and meet his rent. Although at some point, because of the need to prepare for these interviews, he would take like a whole 3 months, just getting focused on reading and practicing and all that, so that he could make it through the interviews. Then he came down during the wedding of our brother Benson, and it is, I don't know, it is strange, but in a looking back, I think that's the time we spent a lot of time together him and I actually, because last December we were together. I traveled down to their country. I think it was on 20th of December thereabout. Um, um, and then with my sons and Kyle and Keith, and then he was there. We had a good time together. Him as their uncle. We talked a lot. I mean, we for some reason we had a very heart-to-heart chat on so many things about the family. We even toured the farms together. I think there was a time we wanted to see whether we could purchase one parcel of land here, and we talked a lot, so much about so many things as a family, something we had never done before. And then we got on talking about how the future would be like, the projects we wanted to get into poultry farming, etc. It was amazing. Then now he traveled back to Nairobi. Then he went to Rwanda. This year he's been in Rwanda like almost half the time. He got his visa. We were all celebrating about it, and he went through the processes. Yeah, I have very good memories of him. We'll miss him. I know one thing for sure: he was a very solid Christian. He would share very the kind of music that he listened to, wonderful gospel music. He kept on sharing them on the family WhatsApp. Sermons, yeah, he'll often share with us sermons, especially from whenever he had a good sermon or a unique sermon, if I should put it that way, he would want all of us to follow those sermons on the family WhatsApp wall. Yeah, there's so much. I mean, we've shared with him, and I really miss him. Miss him for sure. He was an inspiration even to my children. We were all looking forward to a day when, we were all saying now, Mordecai, these kids will come to Canada very easily. Would also easily visit, getting visa travel and all that sometimes is not very easy. And yeah, here we are. We thank God for the life that we lived. It's not easy, it's unbelievable. I do not know how difficult it will be to wake up and remember that I can't call him, that I can't check on him. Yeah, but we used to share. I mean, even